Topics with Donna. And on this show, we do one thing: keep it real hot. That's honest, open, and transparent. If you didn't know, now you know. So sit back and unwind as we bring the vibe and a little bit of glorious sunshine to your heart, soul, and mind. Your lovely host, Hot Donna, will be with you in just a few moments. But while you wait, go ahead and set an atmosphere of peace in your space. If you can, cut the lights down low, get your hydration on, vibration zone. Cause tonight, you're about to receive some delicious food for your soul. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? It's about to get hot. You are indeed in the one and only place to be this evening. We appreciate you for joining us, and in just a few moments, we about to turn the heat all the way up. That's right. It's about to go down right now on Hot Topics with Donna. Show your virtual love by smashing that thumbs up and heart icon as many times as you can. And without further ado, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing your host, the one and only Hot Donna.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? I am your host, Donna Taylor, here with DT Network, and I am going to be on just for a short moment, but I am going to be talking about a sensitive subject to some of us, and it's about rejection. But as you know, I am an author. Here's my book, An Imperfect Marriage Saved by Grace. And Mr. Anthony, just so you know, you and I talk all the time, but yeah, I did get some feedback and I have to tell you about it. But to God be the glory, everyone has an opinion about everything, but I'm thankful that I am above all the negativity, that's going on. But yeah, but Miss Anthony, I will call you later. But thank you. I am Donna, your host here on Hot Topics with Donna. Hot stands for honest, open, and transparent. And that's what we do here. You guys have learned a lot about me over the last year. You're still learning about me. Thank you for just supporting me, loving me, encouraging me. And so I'm going to get started. The word that I chose today for this live is acceptance. And I am going to read what it says. It says, those the Father has given me will come to me, and I will never reject them. And we have to remember, when God is doing something in our lives, we have to know that whatever he's doing, whether he's separating us from people, whether he's adding people, we have to be okay with that. And a lot of times rejection is the hardest thing because we don't want to be rejected. We want everybody to think that we're just so great and amazing. And you may be. And we could be, but there is going to be people that don't accept us, that will reject us, and that's okay. But it's only okay if you know who you are in Christ. I've been rejected. I know what it feels like to be rejected. It doesn't feel good. But when you realize who you are in him, then you can go forth. Then you can say, you know what? I am fearfully and wonderfully made. No matter who accepts me, no matter who rejects me, no matter if I don't fit in over here with the A crowd or the B crowd or the C crowd, I am okay knowing that I have a Father that loves me unconditional, and I don't have to jump through hoops to fit in. And that's where we can love ourselves. When you love yourself, you won't allow yourself to jump through these hoops just to be a part of the in crowd, if you will. And so I'm going to tell you what rejection is. It says, what is rejection? We feel rejected when we're not included, accepted, or approved of something. It makes us feel abandoned. You guys probably know how that feels. Like I said, I've too been rejected, and I still may get rejected in the near future. But because I know who I am in Christ would allow me to deal and handle rejection in a more positive way and say, okay, Lord, if I've been rejected from this group or this sector of people or from these different events, I'm okay with that because you're saying I have separated you so you're not able to fit in over here. Because if you do, you might compromise what I'm trying to do in your life. And so rejection leads to false belief. Rejection leads to putting up emotional walls, and rejection is so painful. Like I said, I've been rejected. It didn't feel good. Didn't feel good at all. But nevertheless, when we are in a place of loving who we are, we can accept the rejection, even if it's painful. But the thing about rejection, it should allow us to say, why wasn't I accepted? What made them not accept me? And Lord, what are you trying to teach me in this point in my life of being rejected? It doesn't mean the people that's rejecting you are bad people. It just means that you're not where they are, or you don't need to be a part of this to feel validated. And see, a lot of times we want to feel validated because we think people got it going on. Because this Facebook can make you think that people got it going on, and they can make these posts about, oh, I'm doing this, I got this, I'm doing this. But in reality, sometimes, what are you really trying to say? Because I can say I'm doing all these things as I'm posting, but my heart is broken because I've been rejected, but because I'm not one of these people that, I need all this. So we have to take Facebook as Facebook value. We can't let everything we read think that people just got it going on, because that's a lie. We don't have it together all the time. I don't have it together all the time. And I tell you guys, I don't have it together all the time. Sometimes I just don't want to have it together. And that's okay, because that's my reality. I don't try to pretend and put up a front as if everything is okay, because some days are not okay. Some days are great. Some days are like, nope, don't want to be bothered, but that's okay. Hey, Gina, I love you, miss you. So rejection can be painful, but the beauty of it is when we know who we are in Christ, and when he say we are fearfully and wonderfully made. You can't get no better than that. You can't get no better than that. I miss you too. And so when we realize who we are, because let me tell you something. Excuse me. I told you, I have been broken. I have had self-esteem issues being ripped from me. But when I align myself with Christ, and when I gave myself to him, that is when the real Donna came forth. Because see, when we're in relationships, whether it's friendships, significant others, co-workers, church members, family members, it does not matter. When we have given people the power to tell us who we are, how we matter, what we should do, and then when we do all those things and we don't conform to them, and then when they reject us, what do we have? What do we physically have? What do we mentally have? So that's why it's so important that when we're walking through this journey, we must have boundaries. We must not allow people to say, you're this, you should do this. Because when we disappoint them, they reject us because you didn't live up to my expectations. You didn't do A, B, or C. But when we know who we are in Christ, that's when we can start setting boundaries for ourselves, because then we won't allow people to treat us any kind of way, because you, me, everybody that's watching, we teach people how to treat us. And see, one thing that I've learned, and I am 55, when you set false expectations because you don't want people to see the real you, and you don't want people to say, oh, they have this imperfection, or oh, they lack in this area. We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect until we check up out of here and meet the Father. But when we give people a false sense of who we are, that's when we get in danger of being so broken because they rejected us. Because you know what? Donna tried to pretend she got it all together. She wants to make sure everything is lined up. Whatever she's doing, she want to make sure every T, every I is dotted. But then when I don't cross that T, you're going to look at me, well, I thought she said she was doing everything perfect. And see, and that's why we have to get out of pleasing people, because when we please people to the point, and then the day comes that we disappoint them, what happens? Then your whole image is shattered. You know what? Be who you are, unapologetic, flaws and all. Flaws and all. I tell you guys all the time, I used to didn't like my nose because I felt it was too wide, but you know what? I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and God gave this to me, so you know what? I have embraced it. And that's what we have to learn to do. Learn to face and embrace whatever our imperfection is, because if we start complaining and saying, I wish I was taller, I wish I was shorter, I wish I had more hips, I wish I had more boobs, I wish I had more muscles, then we're saying to the Father that you missed the mark. You didn't create me right. But He created us exactly how He wanted us for His purpose. I didn't say for Donna purpose. I didn't say for Gina purpose. He created us for His purpose. And whatever His purpose is, we just got to roll with it, guys. We must roll with it, be happy with it. And that's why I love it when He says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if He told us that, that means when we were created, the big nose, eyes, whatever, He strategically said, these are all the things that's going to make her fearfully and wonderfully made, or make him fearfully and wonderfully made. But when that rejection comes, how will you handle that? Like I said, I know what it's like to be rejected. I do. And you know what? I may get rejected tomorrow, but you know what? I will stand on, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't have to accept me at all. That's okay. But at the end of the day, I will command my respect, because I will give you that same respect. And that's all we have to do. People don't have to accept us, but we have to set boundaries to make sure that people are respecting us and respecting our boundaries. And it's okay. But you have to get to the point where what people say does not tarnish who you see when you look in the mirror. And that's why Hot Topics with Donna is all about being honest, open, and transparent. Not with other people, but being that way with yourself. Being that way with yourself. Because when we can accept who we are, then we're able to love ourselves. We're able to love people, and then it won't be fake. It won't be put on. If you fail, people are going to say, girl, pick yourself back up. Guy, pick yourself back up. Hey, Pastor Goins. Hey, Rhonda. So you being rejected, you know what? Sometimes it's a good thing, but when you don't know who you are, especially when you don't know who you are in Christ, being rejected can be like, whoa, what did I do? It's not what you did. It just means that maybe, just maybe, you're not supposed to be a part of this over here. And I'm going to give you some signs, excuse me, of emotional rejection. The first one is low self-esteem, avoidance of social settings, fear of failure, high expectations for self, approval seeking behavior, anger and aggressive in uncomfortable situation, and anxiety. So we're going to talk about low self-esteem and avoiding social settings. Like I said, I am honest, open, and transparent on here. When we have low self-esteem, we don't want to be in the center, if you will. We avoid going different places because we feel like we're not there yet. We feel like I'm just not going to go over here. They may be having something at the park. It just could be a social setting. But when you have low self-esteem, you're going to avoid these social settings because you feel like I don't have what it takes. But if you know who you are, then you can walk into those. And I can remember when I allow people and relationships to make me feel less than and not have self-esteem. But when I came to Christ, I was like, whoa, you got it going on. Because I knew that the Father loved me better than anybody could. Better than your friends, your mother, your sister, anybody. But you have to get to that point. And I had to get to that point. I had to write sticky notes and say, girl, you look good today. You're beautiful. But whatever you need to do to build your self-confidence because you've been broken, because you've been rejected, because you felt like this set of people that you wanted to be with because they made it seem like they had it going on. And then when they rejected you, now you got to go try to figure this thing out. Like, why they reject me? Why wasn't I good enough? It wasn't that you wasn't good enough. It's just that God said, nope, I'm going to take you out of this setting. I'm going to put you over here where you need to be. And sometimes, guys, he will move us out of our comfort zone and put us with the unknown. And those are the people that will love us, embrace us, and fuel us to say, you are enough. You are enough just the way you are. Broken, jacked up, but we still love you. But we want to stay with the familiar because I grew up with you, you're my family, you're my co-workers. But what if they are the ones that are hindering you to keep you in bondage, keep you feeling rejected because they feel like they have the power and they only can give it to you when they feel like it. Nah, can't do it. We must remember who we are and who he say we are. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I done been broken. I done been rejected. So I know. It's not that I'm telling you something that I don't know. Hey, Terrence, rejection is real. Rejection is painful. But when you come to your senses, when I came to my senses with Christ, I was like, So all this time you had me living this lie, believing this lie that I wasn't good enough. That's why you have to be so careful who you let in your ear gate, because when they start feeding you negativity, when they start feeding you their opinion, then you become contaminated. then your mind become contaminated, your spirit become contaminated, and then now when it gets too heavy, then we have to see Christ and say, okay, I need you to fix this. And the whole time he's saying, I tried, I gave you warnings, I told you I needed you here, but you wanted to be over here. And a lot of times we bring these self-inflicted things on ourselves because we want to fit in, we want to be popular. But for me, I'd rather have the love of Christ leading me, guiding me to where he wants me to go instead of me trying to fit in. Because I know if he's in it, then I win. But if I put self in it, there's a chance that I am going to fail and jack this up every time. So it's okay to be rejected. It is okay to be rejected because when we are rejected, when we go to the Father and we say, Father, tell me, what was I supposed to learn? What lesson was I supposed to learn out of this rejection? But when he give us the answer, you must listen. We get too busy. We get too busy over here, over here, over here. And when he's trying to talk to us, we're so busy, we miss what he's trying to say. We miss what he's trying to say. So don't allow distractions to get in the way when you feel like I've been rejected and I don't understand why. And as I stated before, rejection doesn't feel good. I've been rejected. Hey, you know what? That's part of life. So if I get rejected tomorrow, would it hurt? Probably. But the thing that brings me the most comfort is I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And then my favorite scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. Because he know the plans for me. He knows the plans for Gina and Fred and Terrence and Terry. He knows the plan. So if you get rejected, just know he knows the plan. But are we willing to accept that? That's the question. For you, it may be different. Rejection may feel different for you. And then the third and fourth is fear of failure, high expectations of self. When I started doing this podcast and all my other ventures, did I have a fear? Absolutely. Because I had set high standards for myself. But then I had to realize that God didn't give me the spirit of fear. And if I'm following his plan and following his guidance and seeking him, then I'm in order. I can set these high expectations, but do they line up with the Father? And then you can have emotional outbursts, approval-seeking behavior. So then there you go. You're trying to fit in. You want to dress like them. You want to talk like them. You want to, drive what they're driving. You want to live what they're living. But you're still rejected. It doesn't matter if you do all these things. Are they making you feel like you're part of it? You're still rejected. And then you become angry. And then you have anxiety. And see, all these things can affect our mental health, our physical health. So, at what cost are you willing to fit in to go through all this because you've been rejected? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And then it says, why rejection hurts so much and what to do about it. And so I'm going to tell you some key things, how to cope with rejection. The good news is that there is a healthy way to handle rejection. The first one is have zero tolerance for self-criticism. That means you must review what happened to you and then say, am I going to stay here and beat myself down? Or am I going to pick myself up and say, you know what? Self, you're great. You're amazing. Or are you going to just stay in the gutter and say, well, I knew I wasn't going to make it? Because see, we can train our mind to think like, I don't have it together. Who said you didn't have it together? Did your friends? Did your coworkers? Did your family? Who told you you didn't have it together? So that's the first thing. Have zero tolerance for self-criticism. This is talking about how you can be healthy in adversity of being rejected. The second thing is revive your self-worth. Revive your self-worth. You have to know that you are worthy. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Even if you've been rejected, you have to go back and say, you know what? I may have been rejected, but I am still wonderful. I am still amazing. I still have more to give than people see. So that's the second thing to making sure you stay healthy when you've been rejected. The third thing is boost your feeling of connection. You have to boost your feelings of being connected. If it means you're just going to the movies, hey, do it. But you can't stay in a state because you've been rejected. You can't stay there. Hey, Trent, you can't stay there. Hey, Deborah, you can't stay there. When you've been rejected, like I said, it doesn't feel good. But you know what? At the end of the day, rejection should help you grow. Rejection should say, you know what? Girl, you better get yourself in order. Man, you better get with the program. Because not all rejection is bad. It just depends on how you take it, and it just depends on where you are in your life. It just depends on where you are in your life. And then I'm going to give you 4 tips on how you can cope with rejection. Acknowledge the pain and grieve. When you've been rejected, it's a grieving process because you want people to love you. You want people to like you, but you know what? In the real world, that's just not. Everybody's not going to like you. And we just need to face the fact. Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to approve of what you're doing. Everybody's going to find fault in what you're doing. And that's okay because they're entitled to the way they feel. But you're also entitled to how you handle it. You're entitled to saying, well, I know my worth. Remember I said, you got to revive your self-worth. You know your worth. And that's why we have to set boundaries with people to let them know I have boundaries set for myself. So if you don't cooperate with my boundaries, then I have to reject what you're trying to give me. And like I said, rejection doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. I've been rejected, but you know what? But to God be the glory. It's still good. And then the second thing is don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself for being rejected because you're not supposed to fit in with everybody. So how can you blame yourself because the A group didn't accept you and the D group didn't accept you, but you have B and C that's saying, I see you. I see your worth. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, but you're too busy worrying about this A group and your D group. And these are the ones that's keeping you in bondage. But the one that's in the middle saying, I love you just the way you are. I appreciate you just the way you are. Because see, when we look at people with the naked eye, it causes us to get in trouble because we want to see them for what they are. We think because they drive these cars, they live in these houses, they're doing all these amazing things, we want to be in that group. But when we have a relationship with Christ and we can look at things through the spiritual eyes, then we can see it for what it really is. And that's when discernment kicks in. When you can see things for what they really are. Because A group, they seem polished. But when we see stuff with our spiritual eyes, then we can see, nah, I'm good. But we don't want to do that because everybody wants to fit in with the A crowd, especially when they don't have a relationship with Christ. And sometimes you have to learn to be by yourself and be okay with it. Because I know, especially after, losing my late husband, and then I lost transportation and I didn't have a way to get where I needed to go. And so that was God's time of separating me, letting me know that I got you. I got you. You may have felt like you've been rejected, but I got you. And in that separation is where I was able to grow, to love who I was, to love this new person. Because when you have been separated for things that you love, maybe it's a divorce, maybe it's a death, whatever the case may be, when God separates you and he puts you in a box, if you will, it's for your time. It's for him to continue to mold you, put you on the potter's wheel so he can do what he needs to do in you with no disruptions, with nobody telling you, girl, you better come over here or do that. But in the process of being separated, it's a stretching, it's a process. It's like, okay, why do I feel like I'm in this by myself? But when you come out on the other side, when you come out on the other side, it doesn't matter who accepts you at this point because you already know that he has grounded you, rooted you, prepared you for rejection. He has prepared you for disappointments. He has prepared you for heartbreak. And yet and still, sometimes when he do all of that, then we go back and say, I still want to be over here because this is the group that's popping. But I'm telling you guys, you must stay the course of your race. No matter who walks away, no matter who do not approve of what you're doing, you must stay the course. Because if you don't and rejection hit you, it's going to be a hard thing. It's going to be hard. Then the fourth thing is strengthen your resilience. And that's the hard thing sometimes. Because going through this new chapter in my life, this resilient, it wasn't easy. There was days I'm like, Lord, you stretching me too much. I don't know how much more I can take of this stretching. But then I had to remember, too much is given, much is required. And I'm just like, ooh. But when you stay the course, it's going to be all worth it. It's going to be so, so worth it, guys. So if people reject you, just say, okay, what are you trying to tell me, Lord? When people say you're not good enough, you say I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. When people say I need you to change, you can't do that. When people say I got you, really do you? Because see, people can tell us anything. People can just do and say what they want to do to us, but when we set boundaries, they can't do those things. And I know it's hard to set boundaries because I used to be the same way. You don't want to set boundaries because it's your friend, your family member, your coworker, but boundaries are necessary. Boundaries are necessary for your own peace, for your own growth, because we teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to treat us. And you know what? It's sad to say people be like, oh, well, they love me. Yeah, they do love you. But they love you as long as you are conforming and doing what they want you to do. But when you realize who you are, will they still love you? That's the question. Will they still love you like they say they do? Or will they reject you? Will they? And then the fourth thing is keep putting yourself first. Keep putting yourself first. It's only one of you. We only have this one shot at this lifetime. And like I tell people all the time, when our numbers call, you can't negotiate and say, "Oh, wait a minute, Lord, like, hold on. I had all this stuff I needed to no, no, no. This is one date that you cannot negotiate. You can't. So that's why we have to live life every day as if it's our last. Because we don't know the day nor the hour when he's going to call us and we're going to have to get up out of here. But you're worried about fitting in. You're worried about being rejected. We should be concerned about being rejected from the Father when we're not aligning ourselves with him and doing what he has called us to do. Each one of us have a purpose. We have a purpose. And I tell you guys all the time, if you don't know what your purpose is, all you have to do is say, "Father, I do not know what my purpose is. Please show me." He will show you. I promise you. He will show you. But the thing about it is, when we ask him to show us who we are, what we need to be doing, you need to make sure that you're ready to see it. Because when he starts showing you who you really are, sometimes you may not like it. I can tell you, I am a witness to it. When we start praying and say, "Oh, show me this person, show me that person," but when he say, "I'm going to show you you," because I can handle the other folks, I'm going to show you you. And when he shows us who we really are, will people really like us then? Or will they reject us? Because you want to be popular, you want to fit in. But when we have rejection in our life, it's going to do one or two things. It's going to make us grow, or it's going to put us in bondage. And the decision is yours, because if it puts you in bondage, that means you're giving whoever rejected you more power. It's almost like you be a puppet or a jack in the box. They can wind you up, open up, you pop out, and then you go back in. Whatever they want you to do, you're conforming to them. Because rejection is real. Rejection is real. Some people go into depression from rejection. But the beauty of it is, if we say we love the Father, then you know what? We have to grieve and say, "You know what? What part did I play in this?" Because see, we don't like taking ownership of our stuff. They rejected me because, you know what? They just didn't like, what I had on today. They just don't like where I live. But when we can take ownership of our own stuff and be transparent about our own stuff, then we'll know, like, I may not be your cup of tea, and that's okay. And so, in my closing, I'm going to give you a scripture of what the Bible says about rejection. 1 Peter 2:4 says, "As you come to him, a living stone, rejected by men in the sight of God, chosen and precious." And then the next verse is John 15:18. And it says, "If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you." So don't be surprised about worldly persons if they hate you because you love Christ. So you see, if they hate the Father because of who he is, what makes us so different? But the only difference is you have to love yourself where you at. If you're broken, it's okay. If you're lonely, it's okay. If you don't know where you're supposed to be or where you fit in, all you got to do is ask him. He will tell you. And I always believe when we allow the Father to operate on us, a spiritual operation. When we lay on his table and say, Lord, here I am. I'm broken. I'm busted, disgusted, don't know which way to go. I've been trying this, I've been trying that, and I don't know. I don't know. But when we can lay on his operating table and allow him to take out all of this junk that we have inside of us that has been killing us slowly, causing us pain, then we become better people. Does it hurt? Absolutely. Because when we're broken, we want to blame everybody else. Yeah, we can blame some people, but some things are self-inflicted that we bring on ourselves. But that's okay too, because when we get on the table, it allows him to say, daughter, you don't need this. My son, you don't need this. Let me give you some of this. Let me replace that with this. Because we want people to look at this and think that, oh, they got it together. That's when you're setting yourself up for failure. That's when you're setting yourself up for rejection. If your attitude stinks, just say your attitude stinks. Say, Lord, help me. My attitude stinks. If you're trying to be like A, B, and C people, just say, Lord, help me not to covet them. I want to be who you call me to be. I want to be who you called me to be, because I can't be nobody else but Donna. Because you know what? Sometimes my own shoes is too heavy for me to walk in. But I do by the grace of God, because I'm like, I can't do nothing without him. So I have to walk in my own shoes. I can't worry about Alvin's shoes, Tony's shoes. I can't worry about nobody else's shoes. I have to try to walk in these shoes that God has given me, even in my failures, even in my shortcomings, even in my rejection, even in my loneliness, even in my self-inflicted mess. If I've done stuff to cause me to stray, I have to walk in these own shoes, because at the end of the day, I have to give an account for my stuff. Tony can't go and say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to take this stuff for her. No, that's not how it works. But when we can truly say, Lord, I am a mess. When we can truly say, search me, help me, he will. But we got to get out of thinking that every day is a bed of roses. We got to get out of thinking only because, you see these things, people posting all this stuff on Facebook. It could be true and it could not be true. But you have to ask the Father, help me to discern what is put before me. Because I can tell you every day that, oh, I'm having such a wonderful day. And as I'm typing this message, I'm broken because I've been rejected. Learn to take stuff at face value. And you're not saying that you don't believe what people are happy. That's not what I'm saying. But don't allow stuff, things, to cloud your judgment on what you're supposed to be doing. Because we can get so caught up in saying, oh, they doing this over here, they doing this over there. But then you're saying, what am I supposed to be doing? Stay true to who you are. Even in rejection, still stay true to who you are. But the only way you're going to stay true to who you are if you have a relationship with Christ. Because see, when I didn't have a relationship with Christ, I couldn't stay true to who I am because I wanted to fit in. I wanted, because somebody told me I needed to be this way. And I was like, okay, I'm going to change to be this way. But the more I changed, the more it wasn't good enough. And then finally I was like, wait a minute. And then I got tired of being sick and tired. And I had to go to the Father and say, you know what? I can't deal with this. This is too big for me. because I didn't love who I was. I didn't appreciate who I was. I allowed people to treat me any kind of way. But guys, when I tell you, when I found out who Christ was and he told me that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, I don't care who like it, who don't like it, who do not approve of it. I'm just going to be me. Flaws and all, messed up attitude some days, but I'm going to stay true to me. I'm going to stay true to me because that's the only way that I can make sure I can keep myself in line when a rejection slaps me in the face, when a rejection kicks me in the shin. Because when we stay true to who we are in the mix of our adversities, our troubles, or whatever, you can say, you know what? I've been rejected, but you know what? God, you're still good. What did I need to learn in this rejection? What did you need me to see when that person rejected me? What did I need to see when that person said, you're doing good, but if the truth be told, with each and every one of us, including myself, if God will hold us up to a light like we do money, will people in your circle still love you, or would they reject you? Would they still love you, or will they reject you because they see the stuff that you don't want nobody to see, and don't nobody know the stuff that you have embedded in you but the Father? Would the people that say, I got your back, sis, I got your back, bro, but if you was held up to that light and the Father exposed you, would they reject you, or would they continue to love you through it? That's the question that we all should ask ourselves. If I fail, if I mess up, will the people that say they love me the most, will they love me, or will they walk away? Will they still love you if they knew that you did some terrible stuff? Will they, or will they reject you? See, that's the question, I like to know. When I say I love you, and when I don't do something to your liking, are you still going to love me? If I fail, are you going to love me? If I told you that, I did A, B, and C, are you still going to love me, or are you going to reject me? See, that's the thing about it is, people don't want to be rejected, and people don't like to tell people or show people who they really are because they don't want to be rejected. We walk around with these masks on. We walk around being fake, busted, and disgusted because we want people to think we have arrived, and we have not. See, I want people to love me for me. If you see me and I jacked up and you just be like, girl, what's going on? But instead you're saying, oh, you good. You are so good. No. Stop co-signing on people when people are wrong. If they say they love you, then they tell you, hey, nope, that's not right, my friend. What's going on? Something is different about you today. But see, you need those type of people in your life, the ones that can say, something seems like it's off today. Are you okay? Because when you have people in your life and they just go about their day and they don't never see that, you know what, she's been quiet, he's been quiet, check those people. Check those people. Because see, I want people to know or to see if I'm having a good day or bad day. Or if I've been quiet for 3, 4, 5 days and haven't said anything, haven't called you, or you haven't called me, then there's a problem. because we have to be accountable for our people. Because we're dealing with everyday life. We're dealing with so much stuff. And rejection is a part of that stuff. A rejection is a part of people's brokenness. Rejection is a part of people feeling like, I'm not good enough. So I ask you, when you're feeling rejected, don't fall into depression. Call somebody, talk to somebody and say, hey, you know what? I felt rejected when whatever happened. And allow somebody to talk you through it. Because it doesn't feel good to be in a place of rejection and nobody knows that that's how you're feeling. Because like I said, I've been rejected. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. But the difference was back then, I didn't know Christ, so I didn't know who I was. But now, like I said, I may get rejected tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now. Would it hurt? Absolutely. But will I survive? I will, because, and I'm going to keep saying, my Father said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So you can reject me, that's okay. But when my Father repairs me and builds me back up, I'll be even stronger. I'll be even stronger. So don't feel bad if you've been rejected. The only thing that you have to do is pick yourself up and say, you know what, Father? If they rejected me, it was for a reason. And I trust you. Because if everyone is co-signing and saying that you're so great, you better think about it. Am I that great? If everybody's always giving you a pat on the back and saying, oh, you so this and you so that, they can tell you that, but what does the Father say? Because we can make people believe what we want them to believe. That's just human nature. But when you feel that you've been rejected, the only thing you can say is, well, Father, there's a lesson in this. And wait for him to tell you what the lesson is. Because not all rejection is bad. It may be bad to us because we want to fit in over here or over there. But sometimes rejection is necessary to get us to the next place in our lives. Hey, Latoya. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Amy. So not all rejection is bad. Guys, I love you. Continue to be amazing. Continue to follow your dreams and do what God has for you, no matter what people say, no matter what it looks like. Because I'm a firm believer. If he put it in you, he'll see it through. You just have to trust him. You may have some no's, some rejections. But in the end, if you trust him, all those no's, all those rejections, you still win if he's in it. Love yourself. No matter where you are in life, love yourself. Because we haven't arrived yet. We haven't arrived. And that's the beauty, that every day that he allow us to see another day, we can say, hey, I need you to make me better than I was yesterday. My attitude was kind of shaky and kind of stunk yesterday, Lord. But you know what? If you allow us to see tomorrow, we can say, well, Lord, you gave me another day. I can work on this attitude. You can help me. If you need to ask people for forgiveness, then hey, now is the time. Because tomorrow's not waiting for us. We don't know when our number's going to be called. If you have something in you that you want to birth, now is the time. It's time for us to get busy and do it. All you have to do is get started. Don't worry about the rejections. Don't worry about people that's not going to help you. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. If God gave it to you, He will send the people. He will send the people. I know. I'm a witness. When I started my nonprofit for young girls, he sent Roger King, the late Roger King. He sent him. So we don't have excuses. Whatever it's time for you to birth it. Don't be afraid. You can do it. You can do it. All He's doing is waiting for you to say, I trust you. I trust you, Lord. Show me. Here it is. He will help you. I promise you He will. But believe in yourself. Know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Even if no one tells you that. That's what keeps me going, because I know I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Whether my friends, my family, no one have to tell me that. That's because I'm secure in who He is and who He says I am. I'm not arrogant. I'm not cocky. I just am self-assured that my Father got me. Because at the end of the day, if everybody else walks away, I know if I keep myself grounded and connected to Him, I'm going to be okay. And that's what I'm telling you. No matter who walks away, if you stay connected to the Father, you'll be okay. There are days that I'm just like, didn't know how I was going to make it, but I did. Had some people walk away, but that was okay. Because at the end of the day, when you know who you are in Him, then you can get through it. So don't allow people to make you feel less than. No matter if they walk away, it's okay. It is okay. I'm telling you, it's okay. Because He got you. If He did it for me, He definitely can do it for you. Your situation may be different, but He can do it for you. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me saying, no matter what, I got this. Because God said, I'm with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. So guys, trust the process. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, you got this. You got it. Just trust the plan. And know that rejection is not all bad. Sometimes rejection is just to save our lives from being at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for tuning in week after week after week. Thank you for sharing all of our content. I will be back next week with some more amazing guests. And I'm just truly thankful, truly thankful for what He's doing in my life. Birth your dreams. And no matter what, know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, because the Father said so. And if He said so, then that's that. Nobody can change that but Him. I pray that you guys have an amazing, amazing, amazing weekend. I hope you sleep well tonight. I pray blessings over your family, over you. But be true to you. Love you. Unapologetic. Even if you're not where you want to be or where you're supposed to be, that's okay. Because as long as He give us life, then we have a chance to do it again, to reach closer to where we want to be and where He wants us to be. So don't ever let anybody make you feel less than. And remember, rejection is only for a season. Only for a season. I love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. This has been another episode of Hot Topics with Donna, where we interview ordinary people doing extraordinary things in their lives and in their community. Thank you. Bye.